I was actually going to start this video by talking about how my makeup's kind of halfway down my face. Oh my god, I can see my breath in this room. There's no heating in my bedroom and it's very cold. Can you see that? Yeah, I was going to start this video by talking about how my makeup's kind of down my face and my hair's messy because I actually had a nap today, but that wouldn't be very self-love of me, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to start loving yourself. I think self-love's definitely a process, and I feel like it would be hard to ever be completely there. I think there's always going to be things that you have to work on, and in different stages of your life you might have more self-love than other stages. But if you are kind of new to self-love and self-care, and if you're new to trying to love yourself, maybe one of your New Year's resolutions is to love yourself more, and that's a great resolution. And if it's not your resolution, I want you to take that on right now. Self-love is so important, and is very different from self-care. Self-care are the things that you do to make yourself feel good and to make yourself okay and to make yourself survive life. And self-love's more something that is inside. It's more something that is harder to teach and is harder to have a concept of, I think. One of the first ways to start loving yourself is through self-care and different kinds of self-care. Learning about self-care, researching self-care, going into it properly and looking at different kinds. There's so many different brackets of it, and I kind of put it down to 3 different ones of the basics, which is things like eating, exercising, sleeping, drinking water and bathing regularly. The basic human functions that we need to be well, to survive, to stay alive. These are all very important things. Getting enough sleep is so important, and something that I think a lot of people put to the side for whatever reason, but it's a massive basic human function that we need to survive. Eating can be really tough one, because I think everybody has such a different relationship with food. And if you're somebody that can easily eat 3 meals a day with a couple of healthy snacks, then you're very lucky and you're in a good relationship with food. But I think a lot of us have different relationships with food. At the moment, I go through very different stages with food, and at the moment I'm in a stage where eating's very difficult for me, and every time I eat I feel quite unwell. So I need to kind of relearn my relationship with food. Drinking enough water is so essential, and hardly any of us, I think it's safe to say, drink enough water. Bathing regularly, that's something that can really fall by the wayside when you're in a bad place, when you're in a busy place. And I think it's more than just washing yourself and making sure your clothes are washed and your house and your bedding's washed, all that kind of stuff. It's really easy to let that slip, and it's really easy when you're feeling like you can't move to shower, even to brush your hair. I've definitely not brushed mine today. So I think going back to the basics, that's one of the best ways to start loving yourself, because when you do all the basic good things for your body and for yourself, you start to love and nurture yourself more. Adding on to that as an extra, pampering yourself. This can be really cheap, really basic. Having a bath, having a shower, painting your nails. There can also be things like reading and writing. It can be things like going outside. It's kind of like all the extra parts of life that make it worth living, and the extra parts of life that really speak to you, and that's a very personal thing. For me, I love crafts, I love writing, I love having baths, all those kind of things, and yeah, they're all very important things to me, and I think it's kind of the extra things. Once you've got the basics down, once you're doing well with them, add on the pampering yourself ones. And the other part of self-care is people, and that is asking people for help, asking people for company. If you don't feel able to go to the shops, ask someone to help you out. But also on another level from that, even if you don't need help at that moment, socialising is such an important thing. You might be somebody that socialises a lot in your job. I work in a bar, so I get a lot of social interaction in my job, and a lot of my friends work where I work. But if you're somebody that's self-employed, making a conscious effort to even making sure you go to a coffee shop and talking to somebody even at the till, making sure that you interact with people, because we are social beings, and socialising can be a very tough thing for people, but making sure you have certain people. You don't even need to have loads and loads of friends and loads of people you go out with. You don't need to go to parties. I do none of that. But making sure that most days you have conversations with people, you talk to people, and if you're struggling, you have people you can go to. The second thing I've got for self-love, and this is so important and something that I am proud of myself of for learning, and that is to create boundaries. I created boundaries quite a long time ago with certain friends and family members and whoever, told them these are my boundaries, this is where I feel safe. I will only leave this boundary when I am ready. I'll give you an example of Christmas time. I do not leave my family home on Christmas Day. I try not to work too much around Christmas time because I can get overwhelmed. So that's creating boundaries with my work, and that's creating boundaries with my family and saying I cannot go and visit other family on Christmas Day because that is not something I'm able to do. Whether people understand that or not didn't really come into it, didn't really matter to me. And I know that takes a lot of bravery, it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of understanding from the other people, but it was essential to me. If I didn't create those boundaries, I don't think I would be in as good a position today as I am now. I live in a small town where I feel very comfortable to do things on my own. I feel very comfortable living here, and sometimes when I feel able, I bring those boundaries down a little bit and I go somewhere else. I go shopping in different parts of town, or I go walking in different parts of town, whatever, but I only do that when I want to do that. Creating boundaries isn't just always physical boundaries. Boundaries can be if you've got somebody in your life that you need to have in your life but you find it difficult in being in your life. Creating boundaries with yourself of, I am not going to meet up with that person one-on-one, or I am only going to see that person when it's absolutely essential, like Christmas time or their birthday or whatever. Creating boundaries in your life and thinking about those boundaries is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And feeling not guilty about it is something you need to do to survive. It's something you need to do to not feel awful. And while putting those boundaries in place can be hard, once you put them in place and you stick to them, people will understand, okay, that's your boundaries and that's all you can do, and that's fine. It definitely takes a while for other people to understand, but just let them not understand for a while, let them think about it themselves, and you feel safe in what you do. The next thing is listen to your needs. This one has come to me recently, and I have obviously learnt about it for a long time, and it's obviously quite a given thing, but learning what your body needs is is one of the most important things, especially when it comes to anxiety. A lot of the time I've thought that I've been anxious, or I've thought that I was panicking, or I've thought that there was a really, really bad thing happening in my body, when actually I either just needed to go to the toilet. Quite often, because I have IBS as well, quite often I mistake the need to go to the toilet for panic, because it kind of feels the same. You have sensations in your tummy, you feel unwell sometimes, you feel like quite panicked, and sometimes I just needed to go to the toilet. But taking moments to listen to your body and think, like, what do I actually need? There's something as well called body scanning, where you scan from your head to your toe and think, is there a part of my body which is in pain? Is there a part of my body which needs relief, like going to the toilet? Am I dehydrated? Have I had enough sleep? It kind of fits in with the going back to basics, but actually listening to your body, having the scan of, like, is there anywhere that's tense? Do I need to stretch? Sometimes just stretching can release things. I've actually got a little crystal ball, which is like about this size, which I rub on my back, and it gets some of the knots out. It doesn't get every knot out because my back is just an 80-year-old woman's back, but that's relieves some of the pressure from my back. Listening to what your body needs and how your body's feeling is a massive, really good thing to do. The next thing is to try out lots of different things and find hobbies. Hobbies are such a great thing because they are yours and they are only yours. You might have people that have similar hobbies to you. You might know people that like to go swimming or like to go to classes for certain things. I don't know what people do. But when you find your hobby, it is your hobby, and it doesn't matter if other people like it. It doesn't matter if your partner wants to do it with you. It doesn't matter if your friends want to do it with you. It's your hobby. Finding something that you enjoy doing by yourself. For me, that has been knitting or making YouTube videos or journaling, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be something that's cool. It definitely doesn't need to be something that's cool, and it doesn't need to be something that's expensive, something that you need to pay loads of money for. Finding something you enjoy. It could be something to do with sport, it could be something to do with instruments. Just play around with all these different things, play around with what other people find interesting, and eventually you will find the thing that you really love and have a passion for. And so when you're not doing the work things, or when you're not doing the childcare things or the cooking things or the home things, you have space to have your own time doing something you love, which isn't just watching TV, or doing something, maybe TV is the thing you really like to do in your downtime, but finding a hobby that you do just for yourself and for nobody else. Even when you do art and stuff, not selling it on Etsy or anything like that, just having something that's yourself, that you love doing, is really important. And the last thing is, know that you can't be perfect, and nobody ever could be perfect. A lot of people may appear like they're perfect, a lot of people may appear like they've got their lives together, but most people have no idea what they're doing. Most people aren't completely happy with where they are in life. You would be surprised how many people have the thoughts of, I need to be doing more, I need to be doing funner things, I need to appear better, I need to do X, Y, and Z. There's so many people that feel that way, and you're definitely not the only one. And to strive for perfection or anywhere near perfection is going to end in failure, because there's no such thing. We just can't have it. So learning to love yourself where you are right now, whether that is unemployed, self-employed, employed, whether that's somebody that gets 12 hours sleep, 2 hours sleep, whatever, wherever you are in your life right now, whatever your eating habits are, whatever position you're in, whatever your body looks like, start where you are. And who you are right now is good enough. And these things I talked about, they're not to better yourself, they are to love yourself right now. It's not about striving to be a better person, it's not about striving to have a better body or eat healthier or whatever your idea of perfection is. It's to just be who you are now, and that's good enough. And you don't need to be the person that you have in your mind. You don't need to be your friend who travels all the time. You don't need to be whoever everyone is expecting you to be. You can be who you are now, and that's absolutely okay, and it's better than any alternative, because I think no matter how far you get, no matter what your next goal is, there will always be something else that you feel you need to do. There'll always be some way that you think you can be better. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!